正好我们两个有时间给大家录一个那个之前说过的信息壁垒。So let's have an interview.
Interview?
Yeah.
For what?
You.
Of what?
Let's go. Come on， 过来呀，过来。
Oi, you okay?
前段时间不是一直在说嘛，说要给凯梅隆问一下凯梅隆他对中国的一些看法呀，看了一下大家提的一些问题嘛。都想让凯梅隆来讲一下，都是去中国之前还有之后他对中国的一些看法呀之类的。Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing good. So what's your name?
My name is Cameron, also known as Kamelong.
Good, good. All right. So, okay. So I do have some questions to ask you.
Should we shake hands first? On pizza.
I podcast. Are you ready for this?
How?
I want to ask you, what do you know about China when you grow up?
When I was growing up?
Yeah. Like culture, society, food, whatever.
I think I didn't hear too much about China growing up, like when I was a kid. But as I became a teenager, you started to kind of hear some things. You start to watch the news.
Like what things specifically?
Honestly, I hate to say it, but it was mostly bad things. I think it was things, like products that come from China are all like really poor quality. People who live in China, they live a very like hard and rough, poor life. They all work very hard, don't get paid a lot of money. Also a big one too was that a lot of people said China was dirty, like very dirty, almost like third world country, not really developed. Like that's at least like what we're getting from the news, like people just talking about it to each other in conversation. And that's honestly really it. Like I really didn't know like much, I think.
So how about the food?
The food?
Yeah, because a lot of people were saying that, the way that you're eating Chinese food, you're just like pretending that you like it. Is actually you grow up like not having Chinese food, have your like bread, butter, whatever. So you prefer having those instead of like Chinese food.
Yeah, like I think I preferred like what I was comfortable with growing up, but occasionally we had like Chinese food as like a treat here and there. But it wasn't like real Chinese food though. Maybe it was, I don't know. It was just like very like sugary kind of like food, like chicken fried and tossed up in like sweet and sour sauce. Very like Americanized Chinese food as they call it. Okay. But I still liked it. But I don't know if you would really consider that like real Chinese food, like what we had growing up. So I didn't know much about Chinese food, I think, to be honest. The other thing about China that I heard about a lot growing up, and just from like friends and stuff too, is that just like people from mainland China are just really rude, and they're like really bad tourists, stuff like that. But I don't think I really had like many personal interactions with people from mainland China. But it's just like from what I heard like on the news and just like even just friends and word of mouth.
Okay. I know that you've had a Chinese girlfriend who's from Hong Kong, right?
In the past, yes.
Yeah, in the past. So what do you know about China from her? Because, she's grow up here. She's also from Hong Kong, right? So I think, I want to know.
Yeah, I think from her, like, I learned maybe not too much about her personal opinion too much, but it was more so just like people from Hong Kong. Like I learned like what they thought. Apparently, I don't want to accuse people in Hong Kong. Just from what I heard is a lot of people in Hong Kong are a little bit, I guess, more rude towards people in mainland. Like they almost have like, they call it a superiority complex. Like they almost think they're better than people from mainland. That's what I've heard. And honestly, that's kind of what I've gathered from some people I've actually met. From Hong Kong. I do honestly get that that kind of vibe from them. I can't say it's everyone from Hong Kong, but I've seen it myself firsthand, not just word of mouth from my past girlfriend who was from Hong Kong.
Okay, so what do you know about China after you having a Chinese girlfriend?
I think after having a Chinese girlfriend, like my whole perspective of China like really changed. Like I would be lying if I said I didn't have like a pretty strong negative impression of China, like mainland China. Because the way that we grew up and what they told us and stuff. But I think having a Chinese girlfriend really opened my eyes, and it made me realize, it's like I was ignorant. I was like very ignorant. I didn't do the proper research, and it took me to date a mainland Chinese girlfriend to really learn those things. So I wish I had, done my own research beforehand, but I really learned a lot of positive things about China in general. And I think one of the biggest ones that really stood out immediately was just like how rich the culture is. In here in the West, a lot of people fantasize about like Japanese and Korean culture and not so much Chinese culture, but the more I learn about Chinese culture, the more I realize like how much of Japanese and Korean culture actually originates from China. So I really got a sense of just how unique, deep, and rich Chinese culture is as a whole. So that was like the first thing, I think. The second thing was definitely being introduced to like real Chinese food. I had some real Chinese food. Okay, I say real, like as real as it can get in Canada. I had some before meeting Lou. But after meeting her, like she really showed me a lot. I'm saying she as if I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to you.
No, we're having an interview.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're not my girlfriend. You're the interviewer. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. She really introduced me to like a lot of good like different like Chinese cuisines, and I realized too that this Chinese food I grew up with is like very Americanized. I think I already knew that, but I learned even more how Americanized it is. Probably way more sugary than like most Chinese food actually is, and that I had this like single idea of what Chinese food was, and then like I just realized that like Chinese food is such a broad term. Like Chinese food can mean so many things. Like you have food from Sichuan, you have food from like the south, like more Cantonese style. You have like more northern food like Xi'an or Beijing cuisine. Like there's so many different cuisines, so it's not just Chinese food. It's like way more diverse than I thought it was.
You mentioned Japan, right?
Yeah.
So I know that you've visited Japan, you lived there, worked there. I know that for a fact that before you met me, you have no idea of how rough history that our Chinese, between China and Japan. So do you want to talk about that?
Like what I know about it now?
Yeah.
I mean, I think like here growing up, like they don't teach us too much about a lot of things outside of like European kind of like history, and Canadian history, of course. What we learned during World War II was mostly about the Germans, and like obviously Canada and like Britain's relationship like with other countries and like their conflicts during the war, but never did we really learn that much about how much the Japanese screwed over the Chinese during World War II. And I'm sure screwed over is not the best way of putting it. Like they totally just, I don't even know the right word.
I know it's really rough.
Yeah, it's really rough. I don't like screw over is like way too light way of saying it. Like they totally just destroyed like a chunk of China. And I mean like destroyed like, the spirits of the people through like the really evil things that they did during World War II.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, how much Japan was an aggressor during World War II as the Germans were. And I think one number that really like made me realize it, I don't have the exact number on the top of my head, is that the amount of Chinese people that were killed by the Japanese in World War II is more than the amount of Jewish people that died during the Holocaust.
Wow.
Which blew my mind. Like I had no idea, and we didn't learn that growing up. We're always over here, like we have a lot of like Holocaust like remembrances, and we just learn more about that side of history, but not really about how the Chinese were treated during World War II at all.
Yeah.
Like at all. So I think that really opened up my eyes and made me realize, that I don't know. I think China's just been screwed over a lot in history, not just World War II, but just in general. When you really look at it, like they got screwed over a lot.
And also right nowadays by Western media as well, like continuously.
Yeah.
Right, doing the damage towards China.
Yeah, it's like the screwing over hasn't stopped. Exactly. It's like they're still doing it in the media. They're creating fear in the people, like against China.
I think they're just afraid. That's it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. And I think it's because they know, like here in the Western media, that China is like the upcoming superpower.
Yeah.
Like it is. It just is. There's no way to deny it. Just like look at the numbers. And that's one thing I didn't know beforehand too. You know, there's always jokes here in the West of like, oh, you know, China's going to take over. And I was like, I didn't really know where that was coming from until you really see at how big the economy in China is growing.
Yeah.
You start to realize that it's actually very, very possible. So I think the West and Western media are just trying to make people scared because they know that China could very well be the new superpower of the world in the near future.
Yeah. Okay, the next question is, so when you were in China, what surprised you the most?
Ooh, I have to choose one thing.
Anything, no, it doesn't have to be one.
Okay, because there's a lot. First of all, it was way cleaner than I thought it would be. Like we were always like taught like how dirty and like poor China is. Holy crap, it's so clean. I would say cleaner than here for sure.
Yeah,
like cleaner than Toronto. It's definitely cleaner. Like there wasn't much litter like anywhere. Like, you know, you always see people out on even sidewalks just sweeping the sidewalks. You never see somebody sweeping a sidewalk here.
No, never.
And not just clean, but I mean like also more organized than I thought it would be. Like the infrastructure, like when you look at like the way that the roads are built there, the highways, the transit systems, everything is so organized, so clean, so I don't know if it's the right word. I guess like high tech too. I guess high tech, like everything's just very high tech when it comes to like infrastructure. So that surprised me a lot. I saw a lot of videos before going to China, but it still surprised me how like futuristic a lot of like cities in China were. And I say futuristic because I think that term is very broad. I think like everything in China surprised me that it was just more advanced than everything over here. Like way more advanced. Like again, like when you were taught one way growing up, and that one way being just how like poor China is, you just wouldn't think that. You would never think how advanced they actually are. And it's not like they're just as advanced as we are. They're significantly more advanced than we are here in the West. And again, going back to like the transit system, the infrastructure, you know, the way they use like Alipay or WeChat for everything, like there's almost no cash used anywhere. And I think too, just the way the cities look, like there's a bit of a fantasy over here with like futuristic or cyberpunky looking cities. And I think like China's cities look like way more advanced than our cities here. Like, so even just like how they look, just looks so cool. It just feels so cool just being in those cities. And then it just made me realize how small Toronto is and how like gray and dull Toronto is when you compare it to like not just one or two cities in China, but almost all of the mega cities in China. The other thing was, I wouldn't say it surprised me too much, but after meeting Lou, I did realize, you know, how friendly and like kind mainland Chinese people actually are. And I met, you know, some of her friends and stuff here in Toronto. But when I went over there, it's like I was surprised, but I also wasn't surprised because of the people I met through her here in Canada, but of just how nice the people were. Like the people were so nice and friendly. And I don't think it's just because I was Lou's boyfriend. I think just by default, they were just welcoming to like a foreigner, like in their country. Like all of her friends treated me like I was one of their friends. And again, I don't think it's just because I was with Lou. It's just because they saw a foreigner who was interested in their culture and their country, and they wanted to, you know, give them a welcome. So I felt like so welcomed, like more than I have anywhere else that I traveled in the world. You know, they're always talking about how well-mannered and polite and nice like Japanese people are. But to be honest, I felt like Chinese people were way more warm, like way more warm. And yeah, I could seriously see myself like making so many friends in China and just having like solid friends for life. Like easily if I moved there, I think I would have friends for life.
Before you go to China, all your friends, your family, your siblings were asking, you know, oh, are you sure you want to go there? You know, this kind of questions. So what do you think about it?
Yeah, I think that just goes back to all the things I was saying before about like the negative like perceptions I had of China. It's like, it's not just me. It's like my family, friends, people I work with, just everyone, literally everyone here in the West. Like, unless, you know, they've opened up their eyes like I have, they're pretty ignorant to like what China's actually like. So, you know, people did express like concern of like me wanting to go there. Like, oh, are you gonna be okay? Like, you know, are you sure? Like, what if you get abducted? Like, really stupid things.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is very stupid, ignorant things to say. But I also don't blame them because, again, like the way the news and the media and the government here, you know, shows China to us, it is in a very negative way. So it's just, I think, decades, if not longer, of like manipulation of everyone here in the West of like what China is really like. So I can't blame my, you know, family and friends for asking me questions like that. But I think through my experiences, they're definitely starting to open their eyes just like I have.
So last but not the least, okay, if me and your mom were in the lake, we both can swim. So who are you gonna? You can only save one person. Who are you gonna save? Huh? That's in the comment.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked up.
Okay, sir. So thank you so much for your participation today.
Of course.
It's really nice to have this interview with you.
It was very nice as well.
Okay, so
短
氣派，黐腳腳，美地位，全都來，
美
美地喲。